Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you know the pattern of your network, if any of the packet is not going to follow that pattern, that packet come into suspect, and on the basis of that, you may analyze that packet, and if you know the pattern, that can help you to determine whether a network is truly under attack or not. In this way, you should have a established procedure by which you can know how to acquire the data after an attack or has been performed in the network. Why this is essential to ensure all the compromised systems have been found. That means what systems are have been compromised in your network. To find out that this is necessary, one established procedure must be there, and procedures depend on the basis of organization's needs and how you have been implemented the network infrastructure. And we have been studied, we have been seeing the step of digital forensics many times, many people here. The process is that first, when any type of illegal activity or any type of attack has been performed, then you are going to identify what are the resources from where we can collect the evidences for further analysis. That means first it is identification, and yesterday that has been discussed the challenges over there also. After that, we are going to reservation process. That means when we have been identified, these are the resources from where we can find out the evidence. Then reservation is going to perform that you are going to reserve to for what purpose? So that you may know chain of custody has been maintained to show that the data has not been altered. When you have been imaged, the data has been imaged, the imaging of the data in the preservation. After imaging a data as evidence, you are going to work on the copy of that image. That means you are not going to disturb that image. You are going to generate one copy, and you are going to perform some analysis so that you may find out some facts. On the basis of that fact, you are going to perform some further analysis from where the attack. Hello, hello. Yeah. Uh, that means when you have been performed the analysis, after performing, why you are performing the analysis? Analysis is going to be performed for finding out some facts. Then what are the facts? What are the facts which should be documented so that it can be presented in the court, and it can be proved this is the illegal activity, and this illegal activity has been performed from this location, from this person at this time. That means all the sequence has been maintained, which is known as reconstruction of crime scene. After that, you are going to present so that the court may accept, and after accepting, the attacker may be penalized and he may be charged. In this way, you may by following the IT Act. So this is the procedure which is required to be followed. And after that, suppose you want to after one attack has been happened in your network, then this is the first question: what are the resources where we can find out the data for further analysis? So those resources are network server. That means you know some servers are there in your network, you may collect the data from switches, from routers, from firewall. When you are collecting the data from these resources, those data having so many attributes, as I have been discussed, from which IP the packet has came, at which time the packet has entered, so many other attributes are there. And when you have been find out those logs from those identified devices, for the analysis purpose, there are so many tools are available. TCP dump, Wireshark, NIDS network intrusion detection system, NAG IOS, SNOT. So many tools are there. And here my main objective is to describe the network intrusion detection system. That means how you are going to design the network intrusion detection system so that the log which you have been collected, that can be applied over here to find out some fact is the particular packet belongs to particular type of the attack, or this is not going to belong to particular type of attack. That means you are going to find out which are the packets which are related to attack. Now those packets going to be further analyzed to find out other attributes to create crime scene reconstruction. What is the intrusion and what is the intrusion detection system? Intrusion is what? Attempt to break into or misuse your system. May you give some example which can be happen in a network? Hello? May you give some of the example network attack example? Hello? Example of network attack? Flooding, IP flooding, denial of services, distributed denial of service. Very good. Any other?
Cross-site scripting.
Okay. So these are the man in middle attack. Very good example. So these are the attacks which can be performed in a network. Intruders may be from outside of your network, or the legitimate user of the network. That means the attacker may lie inside a network, or that may be from outside of a network. And what is the role of intrusion detection system? An intrusion detection system is a device or a software application that monitors a network for malicious activity or policy violation. That is, the role of an IDS is to find out the packets which may be the malicious or which are not going to follow the rule. The role of this is to find out which are the packets which may belong for attack. Here, the type of IDS are on the basis of architecture. We can divide the IDS into three categories: centralized, decentralized, distributed. And on the basis of data collection base, we can find out the IDS of two types: host-based network and NI network-based network-based IDS. In host-based, when we are going to put in a particular host to see the activity related to that host, what activities are going to perform in that host, then we are saying this IDS has been designed for this particular host system. That's why I am saying this is host based in IDS. If I am going to put the designed IDS in a network, then that is known as network based IDS. And there are some limitations in host based IDS and in network based IDS. Those limitations, and there are some benefits. The benefits has been combined to design an hybrid based IDS, and on the basis of detection, we can classify the IDS into anomaly based and signature based. And further, we can combine both to design hybrid network. In this way, the detail of this IDS classification, I have given the link of the paper from where you can go through all type of the IDS to know the details. And since we are using the IDS as a tool to analysis the collected data to find out the fact the packets are belonging to attack or not, then how we can create the IDS model. That is how we can create a IDS for the network. The steps for the creation is, first step is data collection. That means you are going to collect the data, and after that you are going to pre-process the data, then labeling the data, and if you are getting a number of features are available in your data set, then you are going to apply some feature selection technique so that same work can be performed with the collected data. Then you are going to split the data into training and testing parts so that can be utilized into a machine learning algorithm, and that when you have been applied the training and testing data into the machine learning algorithm, then a model is ready from where you can apply your collected data. Then apply the trained model on the test data and create the prediction in the form of label. Design the confusion matrix, and to evaluate your design model, it can work in the real environment or not. Yes, this is the one framework how you can design an IDS for a network. That means you have been collected, hello, you have been collected the network traffic by monitoring by using the some tools, for example, Wireshark. Then after collecting the data, you are extracting a number of features. That means from that packet, you are going to create a number of features. What are values for those features in each row? That means in each packet. After the feature extraction, you are going to pre-process the data which you have been collected. In the pre-process, why we are doing the pre-process? When we are designing an IDS model, pre-processing is a very important step by which you are making the data in such a way that can work with machine learning. Yeah, that can be, the computing becomes very easier. That's why here you are performing data cleaning for performing the computation in easy manner, then encoding, then normalization. After that, you are going to perform the feature selection. That means you are going to reduce the features which features are irrelevant. Those features are going to be removed in the feature selection process. Data pre-processing and feature selection are very important steps. And after that, you are going to break the data into training and testing sets That means you have been divided the data into two parts, and after dividing, you are going to check if your data belongs to multi-class problem. Multi-class problem, then you are going to do the further analysis for the data imbalance issue. That means you are going to address the data imbalance issue. What is the data imbalance issue? Let us discuss how you are designing the machine learning model. Suppose you having collected 1,000. Suppose you have been collected 1 lakh rows. In 1 lakh rows from a network. This has been connected 1 lakh rows from a network. After that, that network data has been divided into training data and testing data. What does it mean? Suppose for the training purpose, you have been taken 70%. In the 70%, how many rows are coming? In 70%, 70,000 rows are coming. And in the 30%, 30,000 rows are coming. When and what are these? You may see these data. What are these data? That means 1,000 records for the 1 lakh packet. This is number 1, 2, 3 up to 1 lakh. Here, in each of the row, you can find out a number of attributes. Here, first column is name is attribute A1. Second column name is attribute A2. Third column name is attribute A3. Fourth column name is attribute A4. Fifth column name is attribute A5. And last column is label. Hello? Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, here these columns attribute to attribute A5. This is known as independent column, and label is known as dependent column. The value of these attributes is going to decide what will be the label for a particular row. This may be, suppose you having the label value good, or you can say the particular row is belonging to attack or not. If it is going to belong attack, then you are going to say this is attack. If this is not attack, then you are saying normal. Attack, normal. In this way, you are going to fill each row for the label attack or normal, attack or normal. So you have, suppose this is there, and this comes under labeling scheme. What I have told there, labeling is required. How you can say the particular row is belonging from a particular attack? Anyone having the idea how can you say? Yeah, Rupali. How can you say the particular row is belonging to particular attack or not? Yeah, this particular row is attack or not?
Sir, according to serial number of the row.
No, based on attribute. Based on attributes, you may design some your understanding based algorithm to label. There is one way, another way. Suppose you have been collected the packet for a tool which which task is to perform attack only, pattern matching code. That means you have been collected this row with the help of a tool which is performing DDoS attack. So that means every packet generated by that tool is going to belong to DDoS attack. Is it clear or not? You have been collected some packets from normal network, and you have been collected some packets from the tool which is performing the attack in a network. For that tool, each row belonging to attack. So on the basis of that, you can say this is the packet which having this value that will belong to a particular type of attack. You may say DDoS attack. Is it clear? Labeling.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Suppose you having two things, independent and dependent variables. When you have been broken here, you are getting 70,000 rows with independent and dependent, both type of the attributes. That independent and dependent both are going to be combined and going to be given to a algorithm which is known as machine learning algorithm. Here we are using the supervised machine learning algorithm. Why? Because data which we have been here, those are the labeled data. Supervised machine learning examples are on which
Hello.
the label are dependent.
Yes, sir.
On which the label are dependent. Label depends on the attribute value. Values of the attribute which you have been taken or which you have been extracted. Is it clear? Okay. Now you know these are the independent value and this is the dependent value. Both are combined given to a machine learning model. Machine learning algorithm are what? State of art machine learning algorithm are decision tree, random forest, support vector machine, KNN. There are so many machine learning algorithms are available, and the time is not there. Otherwise, I may give the detail how these machine learning algorithms are working. Only I am giving the concept. You when you apply it to a machine learning model, then you are getting a model which is known as trained machine learning. That means trained, you have trained an algorithm which becomes a model. In that model, you hello. In that model, you are going to test the testing data. That means in that model which you have been created, you are going to apply the independent values only, not dependent. Only independent values are coming. On the basis of those independent values, you are getting the predicted value, predicted label. predicted label, and which and this is known as dependent with the test data which is available label. This is predicted label. On the basis of available label and predicted label, you are going to create confusion matrix, and this confusion matrix helps you to find out your designed model is able to perform the process for finding out the infusion in real environment or not. Any question till here? Hello, till here any question?
No, sir.
Thank you. So this is the process. And what is the data imbalance, addressing the data imbalance issue? For this, let me explain what is the imbalance issue. Suppose you having for the label column, you having three categories: good, better, best. And related to good, there are 60,000 rows. Related to better, there are 90, there are 39,900, 39,990 records, and only 10 records are there for best. 10 records are there for best. Their total number of rows are 1 lakh. Here you are getting, when you have been given these rows to a machine learning algorithm, then the machine learning algorithm is going to design a model. This model will predict the label good if it is getting the rows related to good for the prediction very accurately, for good and for better also very accurate. Why? Because it having so much experience for good, for better. But if we are providing a row little deviated, I am saying you find out this is belonging from best or not, then it can give the false value, false label. That means it may say that is going to belong to good or better. That's why this is happening, because your design model is more inclined to predict good and better. That means biased towards good and better, but is not going to predict good prediction for the best. So that is known as the data imbalance problem. Why? Because your model has been trained with the data which which are imbalanced in nature. So this is required to be balanced. That means same number of rows should be given to the machine learning algorithm so that it may give the prediction correctly for all type of the class. Is it clear? What is the data imbalance problem? Is it clear? Hello? Okay. So this is the you are going to address those things, and you are going to select the machine learning algorithm, and in that machine learning algorithm you need to perform the hyperparameter selection. That means when you are going to use a machine learning algorithm, there are so many parameters are there which is required to be tuned for better training and for better prediction. And after that, you apply the data, training data to the machine learning algorithm. And when you have been applied with the machine learning algorithm, you got an ideas model. And in that an ideas model, you are going to apply the training set. And in the training set, it is giving the in testing set. In the testing set, it is giving some predicted value, and in testing set, some actual values are there. Predicted value and actual value are going to use to find out the performance metric, so that to find out the model can be utilized in the real environment or not. And here, why we are using the feature selection, you know, when you having a number of rows to queue to a machine learning algorithm as an input, a number of rows, suppose a number of attributes, that means यहाँ suppose in so many attributes are there from A1 to AN, and you are going to use the input to the machine learning algorithm vector by vector. That means values of all attributes. This is more data. And if you are applying the feature selection, then when you are applying the feature selection, these features are going to be reduced. Suppose A1 to AM, where N is greater than M. So you are getting a vector with less number of features value. The computation for this vector become very easier, and this become fast also. So that's why we are using the feature selection. Why we are using the feature selection? It enables the machine learning algorithm to train faster. It reduces the complexity of a model and makes it easier to interpret. It improves the accuracy of a model. Why? Because feature selection is going to remove the features which are not relevant, and it reduces the overfitting. Anyone can tell me what is the overfitting? Overfitting? Any idea? Overfitting? What is the overfitting? Suppose in your childhood you have been played a cricket in a field many times. This is the field, and here this is the pitch, and by standing here you are making so many runs. You are always putting 4, 6, 4, and you are making so many runs in that pitch. But what happened? You have been selected for, suppose you have been selected for a state Ranji Trophy, and your pitch has been changed, and you are here, and you have to set to make the run as you was making run over here, and you are not able to make the run over here in a real environment. That means you are good in training, but you are not good in testing. That means for unseen data, you are not very good, but for seeing environment where you have been get the training, your practice is very good. Similarly, for the training data, your model is working very good. But for the testing environment, it is not going to work very good. Yeah, some data are unseen with respect to row selected. Yes, some data may be belongs to unseen. How this type data can be handled? There is one idea I have been discussed. Anomaly based detection, where we are trained our IDS model with normal profiling, and if any of the packets is coming with unseen data, that means abnormal profiling, then we are saying that this one is suspicious. Now you got why we are doing the feature selection. Hello, is it clear? Why we are doing the feature selection, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now if we classify the feature selection algorithm, then feature selection can be categorized into the strategy based and search based. Here in strategy based, we are using the statistical concept to select the statistical concept to select the features using the filter and wrapper method. We will discuss this one, filter and wrapper, this practical example, and this is taking one another lecture if we are going to discuss heuristic, meta heuristic, random and exhaustive. So only I am going to discuss filter and wrapper one. In filter method, to select the features, first we are going to map our independent features with the dependent feature, and we are scoring each of independent features, and each independent features when get scored, then we are going to select how many number of features we need to select. On the basis of score, we are going to select the number of features to perform the further analysis. That means here we are using some statistical techniques that are known as chi-square test, ANOVA test. These type of statistical process are going to be used. And in the wrapper technique, instead of score, we are using the machine learning algorithm within itself, and we are going to set if we are getting more than 97% accuracy, then we are going to consider that set of attributes as a subset. So here you are going to use the all number of features and you are generating the subset. Then you are applying the learning algorithm. If it is satisfying a particular percentage of accuracy, then you are going to find out the output, those number of features as a subset which you have been generated. So that subset of features are used. Is it clear? Wrapper method is clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us go for a practical. Before discussing so much detail, what is the machine learning algorithm? Why we need the confusion matrix? Only one reason I have been given is to validate what machine learning model you have been designed. It is going to work with unknown examples very good or not. For that we are going to make the confusion matrix. On the basis of confusion matrix, some matrix are there. If we are getting those matrix values very good, then we are saying this is the very good machine learning model. May I show one practical before discussing this?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Here we have been used the Python environment. First question is that how you may create this Python environment. Any answer?
It is having a lot of libraries.
Yes, yes. For creating this environment, now library, that is now a complete setup is coming, which is known as Anaconda. Anaconda Navigator. If you are searching in the Google this Anaconda Navigator, here you are getting the first link. In the first link, you may open, and from here you can download the Anaconda software. After downloading, you can download for the Windows, for the Apple, for the Linux also. When you will click for the Windows, here it asks some information, and after putting that information, you can download this one. And after downloading, when you are going to install this software in your machine, after installation, you will get this type of the environment. When you will open by clicking over here, when you click, then this environment will come from here. You may open Jupyter Notebook. When you will open this type of the environment, you will get over here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After opening this, you may open one file to write the code. Here, for for opening a file, here you may open a file in this way. Suppose you opened and you want to give this one a name. Here you can give the name, and you can write here the code line by line. Here in this file, I have been taken some of the required libraries. These are required libraries. That means, for example, Pandas. This is the library where we are getting so many functions related to the data frame. Here, NumPy array is used for performing the calculations on the arrays. Similarly, operating system and other libraries has been considered. And what I am going to use over here, I am going to use the data set KDD train and KDD test. Here, when you will see this data, these are the column name, that means extracted feature, duration, protocol type, service, flag, source byte, destination byte, land, wrong fragment. In this case, so many attributes are there, and one last column is there, which is known as label. The particular for each row is having the value. For each of the column, you having values row by row. Row by row. These are the values. I will share this data set with you all so that you may also run the code in your machine. Here after this, I have been written here one function. The task of this function is combining all of the CSV file. That means here you are getting two files, kddtrain.csv, kddtest.csv. Two files are there. By this function, I will utilize this function to combine both of the files so that repeated type of the task may be reduced in pre-processing steps. After execution of this, let us execute this function, and this is coming, and we are going to say, because I have been open this file from here, from current folder is this one, NSL NIDS NSL KDD. Here I have been given the current folder, and after that in the current folder I am going to supply this path of the current folder, and from that current folder how many CSV files are there that are going to be combined. After execution of this, the files have been combined, and after combine you may see what are the values are coming and how many number of rows are there. There are 1,48,516 rows and 42 columns. Is it clear, participants? Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Participants, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Please respond quick so that I may go ahead. After that, I want to see the label distribution to find out the data imbalance. Here I can say with label 5, 77,053 rows are there which are related with label 5. 53,383 rows are there which belong with label 1. Similarly these are the labels, and these are the number of rows. If you want to address, because I am going to perform this task for the binary classification, that's why I am going to convert one normal and remaining attack. Here this is the label distribution. After label distribution, here d types, because in data these are rows which are available with the data, and we want to find out what data types are there each column. For each column what data types are there. I can say duration is which data type? Duration is integer 64. Protocol type is integer 64. Similarly, all columns belong to different data types, and if we having the numeric data type, then it is easy for the machine learning process. So here I am looking all the columns belong to numeric data types, and after that I want to find out what are the different, that means what are the unique values which are available for each attribute. For that I have been made a function to find out the unique values for each column, and when I have been executed that one, here I am getting durations having, these are the different type of the values. Protocol type having 1, 2, 3 different type of the class or values. Similarly, wrong fragment have 0, 1, 3. So we can see these are the unique values which are available with each column. Why this is important in pre-processing? It may be there that there are some null values available, or there are some string which is not required for the machine learning process. That's why we are doing. Yeah, we want to see what are the different type of the values which are available for each column. After that, if any null values are there, then that null values are the value which belongs from not a number, that are going to replace with 0 in this data frame where these values are contained. Is it clear? Still here this is clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. After that, for the binary class, I have been converted class 3, class 4, class 5 into class 2, that is category 2. In where? In the labeled column. And in X is containing independent set of variables. Y is containing dependent variable, and from a dependent variable we are going to convert into two classes. Only one will be there and only two will be there, 1 and 2, so that it may be converted into binary class problem. Here in YBN you can see only two classes are there, 1 and 2. Is it clear? Line number 10.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
After that, here we are going to perform min-max pre-processing scalar. Min-max scalar, what the role for it? That means the min-max scalar is going to change the each column domain between 0 to 1. That means you are seeing here this column containing many values. This column is also containing many values. But this the range for this you can say 0 to 255. I want to convert these values between 0 to 1. Domain is 0 to 1. I want to convert these values between 0 to 1. I want to convert these values from 0 to 1. That's why you have been used here min-max scalar. After converting that one into min-max scalar, if you want to see what is the value for independent set, then you can see these are the values for independent set, where each of the row has been converted from between 0 to 1. Here, for example, this one. If you are going to study this one, 2.7536 up to minus 0.01, that means minus power 1. So this is coming 0.275. Is it clear or not? Hello?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Is it
sir.
clear? You have been converted each column's value between 0 to 1. Why? Because when you are going to give these values to a machine learning algorithm, the processing or the computation become fast. So that's why you have been converted from 0 to 1. And after that, I have been shown one figure over here. You are going to divide your data of independent and dependent values into two sets, training and testing data. For that, I have been used over here one fact function from the sklearn model selection. The name of that function is train test split. By using that, you are getting, this is the training independent set, this is training dependent set, this is testing independent set, this is testing dependent set. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now I want to see what is the first row in the test data. Here I have been applied random state is equal to 5. What does it mean? In train test split, I am applied random state is equal to 5. That means if you are going to get any positive number, then on every execution, every time when you are going to execute, you are getting same type of the division. That means first 70,000 are going belongs to training, and next 30,000 rows are going to belong with test. Same type of division you will get. If you are getting random state is equal to 0, then this become random. That means you are going to mix. You are going to 70% and 30%. First time, the set for the training will be different in 70%. If you are going to execute second time, then values or rows will be different for the second time. Are you getting what does it mean by the random state?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bit confusion, sir. Please kindly repeat, sir.
I am saying if you are going to give any positive value for the random state, then it is going to divide the data in same, that means it is giving same output again and again. Same number of rows for the training, same values for the training, and same values for the testing set. Same values means rows are not going to interchange with training and testing. If you are going to give it 0, then you can see in testing in second time, first time which was in, let's explain over here. Suppose you having the rows. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here other rows are there. And when you have been divided into training and testing, suppose first time this is coming in training, and these rows belongs to testing. When random state is equal to positive number, so every time the division will be same. That means these rows belong from training, these rows belong from testing. If you are giving random state is equal to 0, then in the second division you will find 4 rows, and 4 rows may be 1, 2, 5, 6 for the training, and for the testing you may get 3 and 4. So for random state 0, you may get different output for the training and testing. Number of rows will be same. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Then random 0 will be better, no, sir, to get accurate result?
Random state 0, then you are getting different output. If random state is 1, 2, 3, 4 or any value, for that you are getting same number of division, same number of rows or same values with rows for each time, every execution.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Here one question is there, sir, why 0 to 255 values should be converted between 0 to 1? Because all columns having same domain, and for the same domain, machine learning becomes very easier. Sudha, is it clear? Sudha, is it clear? Okay. After that, I have been seeing this is the testing. For the testing, this is the testing vector value, that is only one line, first line has been seen, and in the test data, the first line has been started from 909408, which value is 2. Similarly, these are the other values for the test data, and if you are writing this one here, you may find out this is one for the first this value is 2. After that, we have been used the random forest classifier, which is available in SKLR scikit-learn library, and from this library I can use random forest classifier. Number of estimators is equal to 11. This is known as the hyperparameter which is required to be used. Is required. Number of jobs is equal to 2. Here, this from this I have been taken this function into this variable R model. In R model, we have been given independent training values, dependent training values by converting them into integer, and after that, when this become trained, random forest model become trained, suppose you have been created one model which has been stored over here. Now you want to use the testing data, and you are supplying over here only independent variable, not a dependent variable. On the basis of learning, it is going to produce the dependent variable value here in RF prediction. Here we have been done applied over here. After applying, this is giving one column vector. In the column vector, what is the first column value? First column value is what? First column value is 2. You can see here your first column value is 2 in actual data, and in predicted this is also 2. That means your prediction is correct for unseen data. And after that, you want to see what is the accuracy of our produced model. For that, you have been in some of the matrix precision. We call F1 score and support. This is giving 100% type of the precision, 100% of resolve, 100% F1 score. What these metrics are, I will discuss later. After this, when you are going to perform this one, that means you want to draw a confusion matrix. Here, this is the confusion matrix. This is saying this is true positive, this is true negative, this is false positive, this is false negative. In this way, you are getting a confusion matrix, and from this confusion matrix, you can get the value for this. You have very less number of false positive and very less number of false negative. Is it clear till here? And what is the confusion matrix? I will discuss after this. Till here, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us discuss what is the machine learning and what is the confusion matrix. Till here, any doubt? Any doubt?
Sir, no, sir. No, sir.
Intro with the machine learning, type of the machine learning, need for the confusion matrix. What is the confusion matrix? General matrix based on confusion matrix. What is the machine learning? We can say machine learning is a type of artificial intelligence that makes a software application more accurate to predict outcome automatically with the help of machine learning algorithm. And machine learning for predicting, machine learning algorithm uses the historical data as input to learn so that it can predict for the unseen data. Clear? Now machine learning, both types, supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised, and reinforcement learning. Our main focus was today for the supervised learning, where labeling and independent both type of the attributes are required. In case of unsupervised learning, we are not required the labeling part. In semi-supervised, we are going to combine supervised and unsupervised both. And in reinforcement, there are reward and punishment based learning, as we are learning from our childhood, for which we are getting punishment. We are not going to perform that task for which we are getting the reward. We are going to perform those type of the tasks. Here our focus was supervised learning. That's why I have been given. We are going to supply the data, labeled data for the training. That means labels as well as independent attributes. Both are given to the machine learning algorithm. And in the machine learning algorithm, when this is getting trained, this becomes the model. In the model, you are going to apply the testing data only with the independent variables, and both independent variables you are getting the label that belongs to triangle or that belongs to circle. Those labels are given with the help of machine learning model. And after this, what is the classification? Classification is performed with the help of the trained model. For example, in your mail, some trained model is there which is going to identify your coming mails belong to spam or not going to belong to spam. But how can you say your model is predicting correct value? For that, one concept is there that is known as confusion matrix. To evaluate your design model is working known or not. So for that purpose, we know how percentage of errors are available with our designed model, so that those errors can be removed further and your models become more accurate. And when you are designing the confusion matrix for the true class, here this is the confusion matrix. Here TP is the number. This number belongs to number of rows which for which class is positive, and Pn is the number which belongs to number of rows for which class label is false. False negative Fn belongs to number of rows for which your model is going to tell this is negative, but actually those number of rows belongs to positive class. Similarly, false positive, your model is predicting positive, but actually those numbers belong to negative class. And in your model, false positive and false negative should be reduced. Is it clear? Confusion matrix? Hello?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Sir.
this is the definition which I have been discussed for truth, true, negative. After that, these are the some performance, general performance metrics: accuracy, recall, precision, and F1 score. Accuracy: total number of correct prediction upon total number of rows available. Correct predictions belongs to true positive and true negative. Total number of rows belongs to true positive, false negative, true negative, false positive. Recall true positive rate. That means TP, this is detected by the model. True positive, which are going to be matched with actual and predicted, and more number of predictions which are false for the positive class, you are going to reduce the true positive rate as you are going to increase Fn. If Fn is less, this will be high. Precision and F1 score. If you have been designed 4 models with different precision and different recall, how can you justify that this particular model is better? In that F1 score is going to help for which model F1 score is high, that model is considered to be best model among those 4 designed models. When you are suppose you want to create the virtual network, a virtual network can be created with the help of as discussed, open virtual switch, where hypervisor is assigning the MAC address to each of the VM virtual machine, and Wireshark network miner. These are type of the tools can be used to collect the data, and this is the reference. And what data I have been taken over here, the data has been collected from a network. So that's why this is the network classification for the binary class. Is it clear till now? Any doubt till here? Hello participants, any doubt?
For this problem, sir, data set referred for this problem will be given, sir, to.
I am not getting your question. Pardon, please.
A data set used for this binary classification, sir. Data set.
Yeah, and then I have converted for the binary classification. If you want to perform the multi classification over here, then I am not going to perform these steps here. Hash here again hash, and we are going to perform same type of the execution for the multi classification. Let us execute it from here. Here, and after this, I am going to supply for the multi class value only. Now this is going to be executed, executed. Now this is belonging from 5, level 5, and let us check in prediction we are getting the level 5 or not. In prediction we are also getting level 5. Let us check the confusion matrix for the multi classification. Here we are getting the confusion matrix for the multi classification. Is it clear? Hello? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubt? In this figure, data pre-processing and feature selection is very important task. If I will get the time, then I will discuss for the data pre-processing and feature selection part also in future. Till now, what I have taught, all things are clear or not?
Yes, sir. Sir, one doubt, sir. Here in the feature,
Yes, sir.
there are multiple features.
Deepa, again ask the
Hello,
question.
sir. Ha, sir.
Yes.
Sir, feature, sir. Which feature is more responsible for classification? How to guess that, sir?
For that feature selection algorithm, there are some statistical methods are there by which you are going to score your independent features, how they are related with your dependent variable. For that, you may draw the graph, and that comes under the data pre-processing and feature selection. If I will get the time, definitely I will talk. those things. If you want to execute
Thank
the practical which I have been shown today, I will share these things and you have to install this Anaconda software in your machine. If you are getting any difficulty, you may contact me. Okay,
Yes, yes.
thank you. This is from my side. If any question is there, you may ask. This question, ideas for computer network and cloud forensics both are same or any different? What happened from the virtual cloud network? The same type of attributes are connected. That's why same network environment is there. Same network environment is there. That's why we can say the NIDS which I have been created then can work for cloud, virtual cloud network also. Which link is not working?
Sir, where we can get this data set CSV file, sir?
I have been collected this data from the internet. Let us get NSL KDD.
Okay.
NSL KDD dataset CSV file. You can download from here, and after downloading, you may process that.
Okay.
I have been pre-processed that dataset. That's why all the columns belong to numeric one.
Okay.
Otherwise,
I tried in
there are
Kaggle.
some columns
Okay, sir.
which- Otherwise, I will share this pre-processed file.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Please fill the response feedback form for further type of the upgradation or any suggestions from you.